Let's get down in the dirt with the Home Show Garden Pros.
Well, hello, Facebook. This is Home Show Garden Pros. I'm Danny Milliken, your favorite Home Show Garden Pros Facebook Live host that's here happening now today, at least. And, Home Show Garden Pros, we're a radio show every single Saturday morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Sports Radio 16. Sports Radio 610. And we talk gardening. That's what we do. We get down and dirty in garden beds. And don't want to get too punny on there, but that's what we do. We talk gardening, all about the soil, all about the plants, all about making sure that you're making the right choices. And like last week, we talked with Michael Wagner from Warren Southern Gardens about planting specifically veggies and how important the soil is. And that's the sort of thing we do every single week. Like this weekend, Joey Linderman from Enchanted Gardens is going to be up there, west of Richmond, kind of Cinco Ranch area. But that's what we do. Plants for all seasons, Buchanan's Native Plants, and Nelson Nursery and Water Gardens are kind of make up the group that make Home Show Garden Pros what it is, dishing out great garden information. I'm really forgetting letters a lot in my words. Great garden information. So what we like to do in the Facebook Live is we bring in another specialist, usually from somebody who is helping other people connect to gardens. If you got a garden club and you want to be part of this, we would love to hear from you. Just go ahead and message me on this. We'd love to talk to you there. But we have the wonderful Carol Burton, the Director of Garden Education from Urban Harvest. Hey, Carol.
Hi, Danny. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah. Happy to have you. And I know you guys are usually this time of year just getting over your gigantic fruit tree sale. But this year, you guys have had to pivot because of COVID, like the rest of us. And y'all are doing a cool fruit tree extravaganza. Will you tell me more and the people watching about that?
Definitely. And thanks so much for also being a part of our Fruit Tree Festival week. So we are pivoting. We have pivoted to a week of virtual events. So we have fruit tree classes during the week. We have about 4 different classes you can choose from. So starting this Saturday is fruit tree care. And then on Tuesday, the class that we have you doing for us is fruit share and care. So we have Fruit Share Houston nonprofit to talk about his work and helping folks harvest their fruit. And also we have you presenting how to care for your mature fruit trees. And then Wednesday, we have regenerative agriculture for care of orchards. And we do have a postponed cultivated cocktails featuring citrus. Like that event is postponed due to COVID with our venue because it will be a combination of in-person and virtual. And then on Saturday, we wrap it up with a high density orchard class and pruning techniques for growing high density orchards in small spaces.
That's so cool. What a rich amount of information. So that's awesome.
Yes. And I didn't mention that on our YouTube playlist, we've playlist of videos of folks around Houston who are growing fruit trees and also some of the experts talking about care fruit trees.
That's awesome. Well, I'm excited about presenting alongside the guy who developed that fruit share because I think it's so cool to think of, these hundreds of fruit trees that maybe come off everybody's fruit going to somewhere and somebody actually eating them instead of them just sitting there or me filling with bags and giving it to a neighbor who's kind of like, oh, thanks, more grapefruit. Oh, thank you. But actually,
yes.
I'm excited about it. And I definitely have learned a lot about fruit trees over the years. I've killed a few, saved some other ones, and really kind of figure out a lot of tips and tricks for specific trees. So I am excited to share some of that information. Well, Carol, this isn't your first time here on the... Oh, yeah, super, double super duper. Oh, look, Jenny from Landscapers Pride is on. Hey, Jenny, thanks for tuning in. Awesome. Landscapers Pride makes great soils. I don't know if everybody knows that out there, but she's here now. So, hey, why not? So, Carol, what we do on the show here is we try to give gardening advice, and a great source of classes is excellent gardening advice. That may seem like it's kind of, tangential, but man, these classes are going to help you grow more fruit at your house and better fruit. Can you imagine that? More, better, bigger, yum.
Yes, exactly. Because we've had a fruit tree sale annually for the past 20 years. This would have been the 21st anniversary of fruit tree sale fundraisers. And
Oh, wow.
basically, so many people do have fruit trees. And with a little bit of care now, we can increase the production and health of our fruit trees.
Yeah, that is totally possible. If you are feeling hopeless about your trees, it is completely possible for you to improve what you're actually receiving from them. So it's going to be an exciting week, and I'm glad that it's happening. I saw the tour of Tree Search Farms. I thought that was a cool idea too. So, okay, well,
Excellent. Yes.
what we do is we answer gardening questions as they come in. So we've got a few for you today. And the goal isn't to stump anybody if you guys are thinking exciting out there. Plus, Carol kind of knows all of it, so it's hard to stump her. So we cull our questions from our website, homeshowgardenpros.com. There's the Ask a Pro button that sends us a website, and we answer that via email, but we also like to use it for content here. And also from our Facebook page, which obviously you know about because you've watched a video that's on it, or currently you are. So kind of we got you there. So, but here are the questions. You ready for question number one?
Yes.
Okay, here it is. This is from Russell. I say the name first because when I use the pronoun I in here, I don't want everybody to get confused, So here's Russell. I have switched to organic treatments for my yard. Nice job, Russell. Mostly microlife. I have several large clover areas. What do you recommend for treating clover?
Well, I was going to recommend the San Jacinto environmental product called Humates, which is concentrated compost, because the microlife is good. How long ago did you switch over? Because it can take a year or so for the soil to become more balanced for the health of your turf grass. And so that's my recommendation. And Danny, what would you advise for this for Russell?
Well, I think that's great advice. One reason is because the humates really can kind of loosen up the soil so the grass's roots can grow deeper and do more outcompeting stuff. The hard thing about clover is no matter what, it always comes up from seed earlier than the St. Augustine or Bermuda. And so you'll just have this big, healthy clover patch before the St. Augustine really starts growing. But it's sort of representing a lack of nitrogen. And so I would get on some of that ultimate, or even maybe something like their hybrid, which is high nitrogen. That's what I would do to kind of feed that stuff. So, or some real compost that's not in a box or a bag or whatever their thing is.
There's also the granulated cotton burr compost, which is naturally high in nitrogen.
Yeah, so that'd be a great one to treat those patches with. Obviously, if they're huge patches, you want to do something to kind of get some more nitrogen in the area. But if they're this small little packet, like a box or a dinner plate size patch, just get some Agrelon on that. It'll kill it real quick, and then it'll be gone by the time your St. Augustine grows in. So if it's a little bitty patch, now you don't have to kill it. I know that's blowing some of your minds, but if you're using, let's say you did want to put down some Landscaper's Pride compost on there to see the soil heal up, it wouldn't kill the clover. But Carol, you know something about clover that is delicious.
It is edible, and also bees will collect nectar to make delicious clover honey.
There you go. So just maybe instead of pulling all your clover out, convert your whole lawn to clover and get a beehive.
And also you can add some of the clover directly to your salad. So Russell is gardening organically, and it's actually edible. The leaves are edible.
Well, there you go.
Wild edible.
There you go. So there's a lot of the weeds that are delicious. And we've got a couple of posted videos on our website talking about which ones. So that'll be a lot of fun. So good answer there. We're saying get some nitrogen on it. Ideally, you're grabbing a bag of compost or two to cover up that area after you weed whack it down. Unless it's tiny patches, then Agrelon crabgrass killer is perfect for treating that stuff. All right, here we go. Next question. This one's from Gamini. That also, she's using the pronoun I, and I don't. You guys thinking it's Gamini talking. It's me, Danny, talking, but I'm reading her question. I've planted a lemon tree 2 years ago, and so far, not growing at all, not dead either. So kind of a tweener zone. I have changed soil around, and I use Microlife Humates Plus as well, but still no result. Plant is the same. Please advise.
Okay, so for this fruit tree, I always wonder about these conditions. This is sort of my checklist. Okay, where did you get the fruit tree? Was it from a big box store or from a local nursery that sells specifically to the Houston area in order to have a root stock that is adapted to heavy clay soil? So that's the first check mark.
Okay, first check mark.
And then next is the consideration of the mulch around the tree for the drip zone should only be mulch, about 3 to 4 inches of mulch, because that is going to feed the soil, suppress weeds. I would look at that area. That's great that she is using microlife and humates. So we know that the soil is getting those nutrients, but the mulch will help to regulate the water. Okay, so in 2 years, has she seen any flowers? And maybe the fruit didn't set and the flowers fell off. That would indicate, one type of issue. Do you have 4 to 8 hours of sunlight? 6 to 8 hours for fruit and flower production is needed.
Wow. Okay.
And then finally, after 4 years, like if she looks at these things and says yes, we have all of those things, and it still doesn't fruit, then it could be one of those anomalies where the fruit tree is basically kind of like a dud, and you can change it out with another one that is producing.
Yeah, I've seen fruit trees not produce for 2 big reasons. One is they're planted too low. They've planted the tree too low. It's sunk down. Its roots are unhappy. It's struggling to stay alive, which that's usually my first guess. If it's made no fruit and it hasn't grown at all. And so the thing to do is, the great news is the top hasn't grown. Well, the bottom hasn't either. The fruits haven't either. So you can just kind of pull it out, put some new soil underneath it, and then just put it back in that hole. So raise it up maybe 3 inches, something like that, and put some compost around the top that you're using there. The other reason that we're not seeing a lot of fruit is, or if we're not seeing a lot of flowers, if you're not seeing fruit and you're seeing flowers, you may have a pollinator problem, but is just a lack of minerals, the right package of minerals. And that's where it's a big deal. The Nature's Way remineralizer kind of can come in, or the Microlife citrus fertilizer can come in and add a mineral pack that's just right for setting fruit. And it's an important thing to do on a regular basis. But my guess is that she's got it planted too low and just needs to lift it up.
Yes, that is a common issue for gardeners in Houston. That was the first fruit tree that I planted, Danny, was too low and it died. Yeah.
Well, peaches, apples, and avocados will die in a couple months from that. Citrus can scraggle on for a couple years, 5 years if they're planted too low. But the reason is because, you put all that, you take the soil out, put it back in, but you're not stamping it down. And so the whole thing just sinks a little bit. And so before you put the plant in there, just put your foot in there and stomp it some. And if you can't fit your foot in there, that's a good enough reason to make a hole a little bit bigger. But that is, you want that air to come out and then set the height of your fruit tree, not set the height of your fruit tree and then let the air out. So just keep that in mind when you're planting fruit trees. As you plant them this spring, very important to let that air get out so your tree doesn't sink down. So hope that helps. And definitely those 4 questions are huge. Where you bought it does matter a lot. So I'm glad you said that one, Carol, for sure. Question number 3. This one's from Carrie. I have grapevines in the ground that I planted last year. I covered them on the freezing days of winter, but it looks bare and just vines now. Will the plant continue to grow this season? Good news for you, Carrie.
Yes, excellent news, because grapevines are deciduous and they drop all of their leaves for winter. So in the next couple of weeks, as we get with spring emerging, you will be able to see the grapevine start to leaf out.
Yeah, there you go. Deciduous means they drop its leaves in winter and go dormant. That's what that means if you weren't aware of that term. And that's what's happening with the grapes. They just dropped their leaves. They're not dead. They're not struggling. You actually don't need to cover them at winter because of this same reason. But you do need to prune them. Any tips on pruning for Carrie?
That is recommended for the health and production of, and I would suggest watching a couple of videos on YouTube. We don't have any on our YouTube channel yet, but we will soon. So that's what I would recommend, because to describe it in the session, I'll have to turn it over to you, Danny, if you have just some quick tips on pruning a grape.
Well, the 5 is a good number. So there's these little nodes, buds on the side, and from the ground up, you want to go 5 buds, and that will give you a pretty hardy vine once it starts growing. And then whatever you've cut off, you can cut into small pieces, and they'll actually fruit out or, vine out again. So you can make gifts to everyone you know, lots and lots and lots and lots of gifts. But that's the big thing.
Yes.
As long as you don't prune within those 5, you're good. So it could be 7, could be 10, could be 15, whatever you want. But that first 5 buds is what you want to leave on there. So hope that helps too.
Yes, and for folks that want to get some practice pruning fruit trees, we do have some volunteer events, projects at a few of our school gardens. And that's part of our Fruit Tree Festival, is we have a socially distanced work days scheduled to support school orchards. And while you're there, we have a garden expert on hand, and they can kind of walk you through some of the steps of what we're working on, which right now is the time to prune grapevines and our other deciduous fruit trees.
Well, that is wonderful. That's the hand-on experience is the best way to learn, especially for someone that can show you what a crossing branch is, or what a downward branch, or what a bud may even look like. So I know I just recently pruned a plum and a peach that have bloomed out. And so next up is a pomegranate. So I got a lot to do at my house too. So it's a good season for pruning, but man, you can also use those new cutted pieces to use in your smoker or your barbecue pit. Really adds a nice flavor to whatever you're cooking. So here's question 4. This is from Jill. Jill, she just asked a question. I love it. Here we go. What would be pretty and grow over a pergola but not be parasitic? I'm sure she also means invasive. She lives in Webster, Texas. So first off, you got to go over to Friendswood Hardware. They got some great plants down there. Second off, what would be a good vine for Jill?
Let's see. Since our focus is edible gardens and growing food and beautiful plants, my favorite right now is passion vine.
Yes.
Joe Novak's passion fruit, because it has beautiful passiflora flowers, and then also delicious, amazingly delicious tropical fruit to harvest. So, Danny, I do have to ask you to give me a remember. Where is Webster? Is that northeast?
It's southeast. It's southeast, kind of like.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good, because the Joe Novak passion vine is a tropical, because I thought if Webster is near woodlands, it might not be a good choice. But southwest would be a little bit more for a passion vine. It does freeze since it is a tropical, but sometimes if you protect the base of the vine, it will come back.
It's a super cool vine for a couple of other reasons. The fruit, if you get that Novak's purple, which we used to call possum purple. So Joe actually is kind of like, wait, a fruit named after me? What? But anyway, it's delicious. It tastes so good. You can make the flowers into a tea that helps you sleep, which is pretty amazing, and the leaves. And it is a forage wildlife plant for the Gulf fritillary butterflies. So you see a ton of butterflies on those things and caterpillars. So it's a great plant to do with kids. There's nothing poisonous about it. The flowers are absolutely gorgeous. If you haven't seen a passion flower, just Google purple passion flower when we're done, and you're going to be like, whoa, I got to get this. And great news, Friendswood Hardware loves carrying those. So all good stuff for those of you in Webster, like Jill. So great recommendation, Carol. Thank you.
Sure, my pleasure.
So in honor of it being Fruit Week or Fruit Month, as we like to call it, we are going to go to a video about citrus trees with Zach Buchanan. And we're going to talk about some care, talk about what to do with your trees. So over to you, Zach. There's more than just one type of lemon.
There's more than just 4 types of lemons.
That's true. Woo. Zach is here to help me with 4 problems with lemon trees. You ready, Zach?
I'm ready.
First one is this one. Look at all these weird, crinkled, messed up leaves.
Yeah, this is an easy one. It's leaf miner damage.
Okay.
So leaf miner is a common ailment of citrus and lemons. It is a caterpillar that gets between the layers of the leaf, makes trails, and kind of causes that leaf curl.
It must be a tiny little caterpillar.
It's very tiny.
So, but this is not really that detrimental to the plant.
No, it looks worse than it is. The leaf can still perform photosynthesis. But if you want to get rid of it, you can cut off the affected branches, or a good preventative is foliar sprays with molasses.
Okay. Nice, yeah, because that'll kind of drive it away and protect it.
Definitely.
But you have to do that before it gets on there.
There's the rub.
There's the rub. Okay, some of these, I had this at my lemon tree, but the kind of chlorotic or lightening of leaves.
Yeah, you can see it on the lower leaves first. So it's a nutrient deficiency. That tells me that your tree needs some feeding or fertilizing, or it's just deprived of some mineral or nutrient that it craves.
Okay, and what's a fertilizer you would use? Oh, we have Microlife Citrus and Fruit right here.
Yeah, Microlife is an excellent fertilizer for all citrus, and it has those minerals that we talked about.
Okay, the next one is cold. Are they cold sensitive?
They can be cold sensitive. Lemons are not the most cold sensitive of citrus, but if we get a freeze, they can be affected and die back a little. Something to be aware of with citrus in general is that if you're getting it from a nursery, chances are it's going to be grafted. You can see the graft here on this variegated lemon.
Okay, yeah, mine has one over here too on this.
Yeah, they've all got them. And something to be aware of is you don't want any growth below that graft.
Okay.
Because that's a different plant.
Gotcha. That's not the same fruit that I have on the top.
So they're using a more resilient root stock to get these plants to the stage that they need to be to fruit.
Okay, awesome. Any other pests involved with citrus?
A big one I think to consider is scale.
Okay.
That can affect them. And the number one way you tell you have scale can be actually black sooty mold, which appears on the surface of the leaf from the bug that's actually on the bottom of the leaf. And it makes an appearance like a kind of like a black film on the top of the leaf, and the scale are little gray or white dots on the bottom. Fortunately, we don't have any to show you.
That is good. That is good. And last thing is we have 4 different varieties here. There's more than just one type of lemon.
There's more than just 4 types of lemons.
That's true. That's true.
We've got a variegated lemon here. It's a variegated pink lemon with a pink flesh when it fruits. We've got your kind of standard improved Meyer lemon, which is a sweeter lemon but super disease resistant. And then finally over here I've got a Eureka Frost lemon, which I really like because it can give you multiple harvests in a year.
And you guys also have the New Zealand lemon, which is a real cold hardy lemon as well. So awesome. Well, thanks, Zach.
Thank you.
Great information on lemons. For other great information, go to HomeShowGardenPros.com. Zach is so knowledgeable. Love when I get to talk with him. Although in that video I have to stand on a box, which is kind of embarrassing. So if you go back and look at it, you'll see that I'm standing up high because he's super tall. So Carol, I don't know if you ever have to stand in a box when you're talking with somebody, but it's kind of embarrassing.
And not usually, because I'm super tall as well. I usually have to scrunch down.
Yeah, usually trying to be smaller. No, it's good stuff. And citrus is a great fruit tree choice for Houston. We say a little bit about some of your favorite citrus trees, Carol?
My favorite. So citrus, all types of citrus, mandarins and satsumas are my just personal favorites. And also, I have to say the Tropic Snow and Mid-Pride early peaches are just delicious. So no matter where I live, I've got to have a peach tree.
Well, I know if you've got that tropic snow peach, it is already blooming. So you're getting those gorgeous pink blooms all over the place. That's a really good one. And, if you're going to get a citrus, the satsumas, the clementines, they peel so easy. It's like you just peel so easy. You eat them before you get in the house. It's really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. Well, Carol, thanks a lot. Anything else you want to kind of remind us about about Fruit Tree Fest, Fruit Tree Week?
Well, yes, I did want to mention that as one of the fundraiser tickets, we offer a package in which you can receive a ticket to each of the classes. And as part of this special package, we'll also send you a recording of the classes along with a 1-hour consultation from an arborist, a certified arborist who is an expert in fruit trees, so that you can actually have someone come to your house and give you a consultation if you would like to improve the health of your backyard orchard. So we have that special ticket, just 3 more tickets left for our fundraiser.
Well, that is awesome. And would you give everybody the website real quick? I'm going to go ahead and punch in the chat room, but just tell them Urban Harvest website.
Definitely. www.urbanharvest.org, and just go to our front page and you will see Fruit Tree Festival, and you can just click there to take you to the page of events.
Well, I messed up when I put it in there. You can all see I left a space between Urban and Harvest, but when you copy and paste it, eliminate that space and you'll get great. What are these computers?
What are these computers?
Well, that's not one of our email questions of the week. We're just we're happy to have you. I love everything you and Urban Harvest are doing. Signing off for now. Thanks everybody for watching, tuning in. Hope you enjoy this. It's a little quirky, a little fun. Carol's the best. Carol Burton from Urban Harvest. This is Home Show Garden Pros signing off. Tune in this Saturday, 7 to 9 on 610 Sports Radio.